Hello everybody and welcome to another Gay Let's Play Dragon Age Origins. In our last episode, we wrapped up a whole buttload of side quests. We ended up trying to wrap things up before we moved on to the Landsmeet, because once the Landsmeet begins, we are nearing very closely to the end of the game. But before we move on to the Landsmeet and make our way to beating the game once and for all, I have always mentioned how much I absolutely adore the party banter in Dragon Age Origins. It actually is probably my absolute favorite of all of the features of this game. Therefore, I wanted to take some time to exhaust every single one of the party banter material that I have yet to get to in this game. So, if you are not particularly interested in listening to all of the party banter, by all means, just skip the next couple of videos, and after that, you should see me going over to beginning the Landsmeet. So I guess I will talk to you guys in a bit.
So tell me, was the Tower of Magi everything you thought it would be?
Abominations running rampant? Templars ready to slaughter every mage in sight? Yes, it rather met all my expectations.
You don't think you might have been better off getting your training there, instead of whatever your mother taught you?
You're right. My mother didn't nearly have as many abominations running about. That certainly would have improved my education.
I'll give you that one.
I'm so relieved.
I am watching you, dog. Do you know how many of your kind urinated on me in that village? And all I could do is stand there and watch, helpless. If I see one of those legs of yours lift so much as an inch in my direction, pow! I'm glad we have this understanding. At least your kind can be reasoned with. Unlike those damned feathered fiends.
Do you think the tower is ever going to get back to what it was, Wynne?
I don't know. A great number of people died. It will be difficult to imagine rebuilding, with that cloud hanging over everything for many years to come.
Do you think you'll be there? To help rebuild, I mean, once this is all over with?
I cannot say. Even if I survive this blight, I am a very old woman, Alistair.
Why? Because of some grey hair? You are a formidable woman, Wynne. You could see that it happens.
I think you overestimate the number of years I have left. But perhaps you are right. Or perhaps the memories of what happened there will be too strong for me to face.
I have a hard time believing that.
Well, it's good to have someone that believes in me, so... Now, if I could only feel the same way myself, that would be something.
Has anyone told you what marvelous eyes you possess, my dear?
Again with the flattery. Do you not tire from these pointless exercises?
In Antiva, women are accustomed to being showered with the praise they deserve. Men should worship you at your feet as you pass.
They don't find that incredibly annoying?
They are goddesses receiving their subjects, just as you should be. Whatever would be annoying about that?
I have no wish to be placed upon a pedestal.
But you deserve no less. You should be admired by painters, copied by sculptors, exalted by poets. Surely, you know that yours is a beauty so exotic it would turn the eye of the maker himself.
Well, I suppose I...
Fine. So, I owe you a flagon, bastard.
Much obliged, sir.
I hate you all.
You're such a handsome dog. I think that every time I look at you. Lady Cecily, I lived with her after my mother died, had a dog. A small one bred to fit under the arm and in the lap. What did you name it? Oh yes, Bonbon. Oh, Bonbon was a terror. He would hide, you know, when he saw you coming. And then he would attack your ankles. Rather sharp teeth in the ankles. Very painful. He attacked me once. Latched onto my leg. I thought it was a diseased rat and kicked. Bonbon flew across the room and over over the banister. He survived. But he never came near me after that.
Alistair, what's this?
It's a sock?
It's a filthy sock. How did it find its way to my bedroll?
Maybe it likes you? Socks are sneaky like that. Anyway, it's not mine.
It has your name stitched on it.
Oh, part of Templar training back at the Chantry, the men were always getting their socks mixed up. Anyway, sorry about that. I'll take it from you right now. One of my socks is feeling a little damp anyway. A change would be nice.
You're going to put it on? It's filthy.
And dry. We're not exactly traveling in the lap of luxury here.
What hideous habits you've picked up.
You do still intend to kill your target, do you not? Is your reputation not on the line?
Are you still on about this woman?
I am led to believe that the crows would never permit such a transgression. They will come after you and in force.
It has come to my attention that the crows are not always successful when pit against the Grey Wardens and their companions.
Perhaps they will send someone competent next time.
You wound me.
I have considered doing far more than that. Trust me.
I do not understand what a golem is. Why would anyone create such a being?
Why would one create a sword? To strike at its enemies.
But you are no sword golem. You speak like a living creature, but act like a possession. I do not know what to make of you.
I am no possession. Not now that the control rod is broken.
No, it is still in your heart. Do you even realize this? Age by age have men stood up and said to the world, "From what has come before me I was forged, but I am new and greater than my forebears." And so each man walks the world in ruin, abandoned and untried, less than the whole of his being.
It is a riddle.
It seems so.
So you met this sibling of yours?
Half-sister, but yes.
And she turned out to be an insufferable hag?
You'd have liked her. You two have a lot in common.
And you let her berate you without punishment?
It's moments like this when I truly appreciate the difference between you and me.
It is moments like this when I truly wonder at the difference between you and a toadstool.
Ugh, got something in my... sodded.
What are you... Never mind, I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's right. Keep your nose up. You know, just because we don't all live in some tower in the clouds doesn't mean we're worthless.
I didn't...
And furthermore, I don't think I appreciate the way you looked at me last night.
The way I... what?
Oh, you remember. Those longing eyes, hungry for a bit of a tussle.
I never looked at you, dwarf. Definitely not in that way.
Oh, you're right. Must have been the dog.
I am led to understand that the Canary have their own mages as well. Is this so?
You would not understand.
Not understand? Is it mental capacity that you believe I lack? Or are you worried I will sympathize with my so-called brethren?
Take your pick.
Is that supposed to make me angry?
It means I find myself wishing that your people held proper, civilized attitudes towards magic.
That is a rather hostile thing to say.
And yet you continue speaking. Astonishing.
So, here is a question for the Painted Elf.
Painted elf. Oh, that's me. Oh, I do like that.
Am I to understand correctly that the Painted Elf is a crow?
Not literally, but yes, I am a crow.
As in a bird?
Is there another sort?
So the Painted Elf assaults helpless statuary with its feces?
If given sufficient cause, why not?
That is outrageous. The Painted Elf will stay away from me, or else.
I get a lot of that.
So, are you going to continue staring at me as if I am covered in eels?
Eels would be something.
Prudery. How charming. I expected paranoia. This is much better. I prefer to be stared at lustfully, if at all.
Keep trying, then.
Oh? Then shall I demonstrate an act or two, and you may tell me hot or cold?
I'll save time. Cold.
You are a tease.
Hey, you stupid mutt. What are you looking at me for? Well, you better get moving, you great sodding pile of potential poo. Yeah, you give as good as you get, mutt. Maybe there's something to this Ferelden notion of having dog companions. Companions and allies. No need for those big clomping golems, is there? Just between the two of us, I think those golems are more trouble than they're worth. Too bad so many had to suffer before they figured it out.
Have you changed your mind, Stan? I dream about you and I, if you must know.
You would, even if I were interested in a small thing like you. The Kunari Act is unpleasant.
Unpleasant? Unpleasant how? Now I really am interested.
Deadly.
And what if I didn't mind? I enjoy a little animation.
You'd be less animated afterward.
It sounds as if I am arousing your passions already, my dear Stan.
Parshera, why do you pester me?
Because 'tis amusing, that is why.
They tell you what to wear in the chantry?
You have robes and such that you must wear.
And, so... robes? What else?
Well, sometimes there are vestments and ceremonial garments.
Right. And then?
Why are you so interested in this?
Ah, sod it. Under the robes. Pants? No pants?
What?
Stop stalling. Naked or not.
What difference does it make?
All right. Stonewall me. I'll find out one way or the other.
Right. Good luck with that.
You seem so deep in thought, my dear Stan. Thinking of me, perhaps? The two of us together at last?
Yes.
What did you say?
You will need armor, I think, and a helmet, and something to bite down on. How strong are human teeth?
How strong are my teeth?
Kunari teeth can bite through leather, wood, even metal given time. Which reminds me, I may try to nuzzle.
Nuzzle?
If that happens, you'll need an iron pry-bar. Heat it in a fire first, or it may not get my attention.
Perhaps it would be better if we did not proceed.
Are you certain? If it will satisfy your curiosity.
Yes, I think it is best.
So is it very strange for you, my friend, living in the world of the tall?
Here I thought I was living in the world of the nosy and the stupid.
It just occurred to me. Chairs are too high, tables are out of reach. Using the toilet facilities alone must be a lesson in humility.
I'm not bloody 2 feet tall, you swishy nuglicker.
And then the light. After all that gloom of Orzammar and the deep roads, it's a wonder you don't wander about squinting in pain.
It is bright, I'll give you that.
And oh, not to have a roof over your head. You must constantly fear that you'll fall up into that vast, endlessly open sky. One day you'll live within the surety of a mountain, and then gone. Nothing but vacuum. Nothing to stop you from being sucked up into the void. Nothing to...
Stop! One more word, and I chop you down where you stand.
You are a brave, brave little soldier, my friend.
I heard about what happened and I don't really know what to say. But I feel like I need to say something. Sorry, perhaps.
I do not need sympathy, so do not feel obliged to give me comfort. We all die, Liliana, and we all know it. How is this different?
Because it's sooner?
Is it really? I may die next year, or I may die tomorrow, shot through the heart by a bandit's arrow. I do not know for sure. The constant fear of death is enough to take the joy out of anything, especially life. Do not worry for me or for yourself. Death will take us when it wills. Until then, we shall live, truly live.
Just how smart are Mabari supposed to be, anyway? Do you think they understand everything we say? Oh, is that so? You could just be listening to the tone of my voice. You could be an utter moron for all we know. Hey now! There's nothing saying that a moron can't be cute and adorable. Who's the cute and adorable puppy? Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? That's what the Chantry kept telling me anyhow.
I'm curious. Will the Painted Elf answer a question?
Why not? I appear to have all day.
The Painted Elf attacked the Grey Warden, and yet it still lives. Had the decision been mine, its skull would be pulp right now.
Oh, I don't know. Could you destroy something as pretty as I am?
Easily. I fail to see how any measure of attractiveness would make one difficult to crush.
Perhaps you do not know how to look then. Take a long look at our Grey Warden, my good friend. Right there, we have an object worthy of worship, no? One would have to be blind not to realize how very pretty we all are and how important that is to preserve.
Perhaps there are definitions of blind I have yet to understand.
There are many great tales of lost kings who return to their lands to reign in glory.
I am not lost, nor for that matter, a king. And there's nothing glorious about me.
You are Merrick's son. You are the rightful king of Ferelden.
I am the son of a star-struck maid and an indiscreet man who just happened to be king. Look, I can't be king. Some days I have trouble figuring out which boot goes on which foot.
Complete fools are made leaders of kingdoms all the time. And you're not a complete fool.
What an utter relief.
And don't worry about the boots. Kings don't need to dress themselves. That's what advisors are for, isn't it?
And star-struck maids, apparently.
What do you estimate are the chances of success, Kunari?
For the Grey Warden, little to none.
So why does it follow? I do not risk death, but it does.
My mission is no different from the Grey Warden's. I must see this through to the end.
It would rather perish than give up its quest.
Indeed. There is honor to be salvaged in such a quest, no matter its chances.
Honor is a curious thing. It is far better to be practical.
What use is practicality when it leads to cowardice and emptiness? It is better to live well than to live.
An interesting theory.
There is worth in your life, Shale. There is value, but only if it is used.
These markings of yours, they have a certain appeal. They remind me of how we used to paint our faces in Orlais.
Ah, but these are not just paint.
Do they mean anything to you, these symbols?
Some do. Some symbols are sacred to the crows. I am not permitted to tell you what they mean. Others are there to accentuate the lines of the body, its curves and musculature. It is hard to explain with armor and clothing on.
But I don't recall seeing many markings on your body.
Ah, no. Of course not. They are not in the places you have yet seen. I can show you if you wish.
No. I think not.
Is this a problem?
Not at all. I'm merely content looking at the markings on your face, that is all.
Have it your way. Should you change your mind?
You'll be the first to know, don't you worry.
Did you speak often with Kalen?
You're asking me if I have a relationship with my brother, aren't you?
Yes. I wonder what he thought of you.
I don't think he cared much about my existence. I didn't mean anything to him. Anyway, to answer your original question, no. We never spoke. Well, maybe once. Marek and Kalen had come to Redcliffe to visit the Arl. I was very young then. We were introduced. I believe I said, "Greetings, Your Highness." He said, "Ooh, swords," and ran off to the armory. So, yes, that was the extent of our relationship. We drifted apart after that. Very sad.
That is a most offensive odor.
And you're looking at me?
Should I be looking elsewhere? Have you forgotten about the fish you stored in your backpack, perhaps?
I was saving it. Won't be ready for the lie for at least another day.
Even the chastened did not have such disgusting habits, and they consumed the flesh of the dead.
Fine, fine. I'll soak it in the lie now. Have it your way, Miss Squeamish.
That's not what I... no, never mind. Just get it over with, quickly.
I have thought a little more about the Sisters' Maker.
He's not just my maker, Shale. He's your maker too. He created everything.
I happen to know exactly who my maker is.
I think you're wrong. The important part of you, that part which makes you, you, he made that.
And the sister simply believes this, even though there is no proof?
I do.
And the sister still believes that she and I could be sisters? In spirit?
I do. I think that would be nice.
I suppose there are worse things that could happen. Like being assaulted by a flock of pigeons.
I'm glad to hear it.
I couldn't help hearing about your predicament. Forgive me if I'm prying.
Yes, you are.
But what does it feel like being possessed by a spirit?
Why does this interest you so?
I simply wish to get to know those that I travel with. Is that wrong of me?
No, of course it isn't. Well, let me see. It is hard to describe. It is comforting. I feel safe. Loved.
Comforted. Loved, yes.
It is like being held close. Cradled. The bond is so complete that I am unable to extricate myself. Nor do I wish to. Wait. Why do you have that look on your face?
I am simply imagining it. Continue, please.
And there is a constant warmth that spreads outwards from the very center of my being, infusing my body with...
Oh...
Andraste's grace, what are you thinking about now? No, I don't want to know. I feel dirty. Do not speak to me.
They say your mother is Flemeth, a witch of the Kokari Wilds.
They also say that washing your feet in winter makes you catch cold in the head, but we all know that is not true. But sometimes they are right, and they are right in this.
You know the stories about...
Of course. You think my mother would let me go without telling me all the stories of her youth?
My mother told me stories too. She was the one who kindled my love of the old tales and legends.
My mother's stories curdled my blood and haunted my dreams. No little girl wants to hear about the wilder men her mother took to her bed, using them till they were spent, then killing them. No little girl wants to be told that this is also expected of her once she comes of age.
I see.
No, you don't. You really don't.
You must know that murder is wrong, I assume.
I'm sorry, are you speaking to me?
That is why you wish to leave your crows. A crisis of conscience.
Yes, that is exactly it.
Joke if you wish, but I have the feeling that deep down you regret the life you have lived.
It's true. I regret it all.
Must you be such a child? Are you incapable of a single serious conversation?
I know. I'm terrible and it makes me sad. May I rest my head in your bosom? I wish to cry.
You can cry well away from my bosom, I'm certain.
Did I tell you I was an orphan? I never knew my mother.
Egad, I give up.
I did not realize that you were a woman.
That is because I am not. I am a golem.
But you were once a woman, and a dwarf. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
The bard speaks of someone who lived and died 5 centuries ago. What have I in common with her?
You share a soul.
I do not. It talks in riddles. Desist or I shall crush its head.
Have you changed your mind yet? Are you willing to speak seriously?
Of your bosom? As you wish.
No, I do not wish to speak of my bosom.
But it is a marvelous bosom. I have seen women half your age who have not held up half so well. Perhaps it is a magical bosom?
Stop talking about my bosom.
But I thought you wished to speak seriously.
I do. I thought, however foolishly, that you might be willing to speak of your past.
We could do that. There have been many bosoms in my past, though only few as fine as yours.
Enough. I'm ending this conversation.
You are very beautiful, Morrigan.
Tell me something I do not know.
But you are always dressed in such rags. It suits you, I suppose. A little tear here, a little rip there to show some skin. I understand.
You understand I lived in a forest, I hope?
Maybe we could get you in a nice dress one day. Silk. No, maybe velvet. Velvet is heavier, better to guard against the cold in Ferelden. Dark red velvet. Yes. With gold embroidery. It should be cut low in the front, of course. We don't want to hide your features.
Stop looking at my breasts like that. 'Tis most disturbing.
You don't think so? And if it's cut low in the front, we must put your hair up. Show off that lovely neck.
You are insane. I would sooner let Alistair dress me.
It'll be fun, I promise. We'll get some shoes too. Shoes! We could go shopping together.
I have never heard of a thing called a Qunari.
Then you have not been listening. We did not row to shore last year. We have been about for centuries.
I have listened. I have done little else, in fact. And yet I do not remember anyone mentioning such a Qunari in all my years in the village.
Relying on humans as a source of education is a fool's errand.
They are rather ignorant, aren't they? And feeble, at the best of times.
We have creatures on Parvolan that are similar. The humans call them monkeys. They are dull, cowardly vermin. They cry out shrilly when threatened and throw their own feces.
That is an excellent comparison. I wonder if they're related.
Possibly.
So you can turn into animals, aye? Like cats and wolves?
When the desire strikes me.
Have you ever, went into Banter?
That's a most curious little mind you have, dwarf. And what if I had? Would that thought comfort you during your lonely nights?
Have you ever changed during?
Why are you suddenly asking me this?
How do we know you're truly a woman? Or even a human? You could be a chipmouse or a nug. Imagine that.
Why, yes. I am actually a nug in human form. I have come to observe your kind.
Nugs are good with extra sauce. I'm just saying.
We have dogs in Antiva. They run in the streets and eat garbage. It's true. They're treated as vermin mostly. Not like here in Ferelden. You're rather lucky to live here, you know. Indeed. Here they make statues of dogs. They carve you into their thrones and put armor on you. Amazing, really. But you still smell like a dog. In fact, you smell like several dogs. Yes, well, ignorance is bliss, I suppose.
You have a barbed tongue, Morrigan. Why do you treat others in this way?
I owe you no explanation. There is no writing on my forehead that says, "Please, guide me."
You are traveling with these people. It behooves you to be civil.
You were too transparent, old woman. Do not bring up our companions when all you wish is for me to be civil to you. I am not one of your circle apprentices, to hang on your every word. I am not Alistair, who sees in you a surrogate mother.
No, it is obvious you are nothing like Alistair.
Take your lectures elsewhere. They mean nothing to me.
I would have thought saving the surface would have involved less walking.
Little legs getting tired?
I thought these people had animals, horses and such.
In Orlais, perhaps, but not here. If you like, I could hoist you up on my back.
Hey now, don't start with the...
Yes, climb up, and I'll cart you around like a child. Marvelous fun.
You knife-eared pipe cleaner. You couldn't carry me on your best day.
Perhaps if you left behind the spirit, sold the weapons, and lost about 2 feet of beard.
I give up. Just keep walking.
Liliana, what do you want from me?
Nothing. I'm just curious. There's a lot we don't know about you, Sten. Except that you're a big softy.
Please stop saying that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. There's nothing wrong with having a heart, Sten. It's just not what I expected.
Why?
You're so Qunari. All the stories speak as if you were a hurricane or an earthquake rather than people.
Qunari are most dangerous because we are thinking men and not an unthinking force.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
For your sake, I hope you never find out.
Stop looking at me, mongrel. I have nothing you want. Why do you keep staring at me so, you flea-ridden beast? Can you not tell when you are not wanted? I enjoy company of creatures of the wild, not stench-ridden domesticated wolves. And he persists. maddening!
Win. Care to partake of Ogren's fine homebrew? It's the drink of the gods.
Ale, is it? And I hope it's brewed hygienically?
Of course. I may not know clean from a beggar's ass when it comes to most things, but I don't mess around with my ale.
Very well, let's have a taste.
Well, what do you think?
Very nice.
You like it? Well, I never...
Attractive amber color, nutty flavor, slightly sweet, just a hint of toastiness. There's some spice to it I'm finding hard to place.
Yes?
Is it cloves?
Cloves! By the stone, you're a lady after my own heart. If I weren't buckled in this armor, I'd take you around the corner and, well, you know.
Give me more ale?
I imagine you have already composed a suitable ballad to commemorate the events at Redcliffe, Leliana.
Why would I do such a thing?
You have taken up your instruments once again, have you not? So to speak. A bard takes events of great import and puts them to tale.
What happened at Redcliffe was horrible. So many people died, and they were violated by unimaginable evil forces.
That was not so difficult, was it? You may wish to add music, however.
You make it sound as if you enjoyed what happened there. I can barely stomach to think of it.
But we were successful in the end. Victory without cost has little worth.
I just think of what that poor little boy went through. No, I don't want to glorify what happened there.
Then who will learn from these events? I would think on it some more, were I you.
So are all of your kind similarly powerful, Kunari?
I am not here to satisfy your curiosity, creature.
That is true. I suppose I sounded like a human chattering away. I apologize.
No, it is I who should apologize. You are no human. You are a vastly superior construct.
That's kind of the Kunari to say. If all your people are like you, it's a wonder you haven't crushed the humans under your heel.
I have wondered the same thing.
One just needs to look at them. They're so...
Small.
Exactly.
You and I, we are of the same mind, Kadan.
Do you have any tales of the wilds?
None of the sort you like. No princesses in tall towers or knights throwing themselves at whole armies.
That's not all I like.
Do you want tales of the chastened wilders who dwell in the marsh? Do you want to hear of the slow deaths they inflict on their enemies? Perhaps a tale of the poisonous creatures of the wilds that lay their eggs on your skin so their young may eat you alive when hatched? Or a tale of my mother's marsh cuisine? That, in my opinion, is the most terrifying of all my tales.
No, I don't want to hear about those things.
Then I have no tales for you.
Would the drunken dwarf have saved its former wife if it could? I assumed that since the drunken dwarf was a master of the inappropriate, it lacked the ability to actually be offended.
Good call. Truth is, I don't know. She was almost crazier than when we were married, it looked like.
Almost. It is exaggerating, surely.
Branka was always a bit twitchy. There was that day she took her forging hammer to my head for misplacing her tongs. Good times.
I'm finding the nature of its relationship to this Branka difficult to imagine.
Make-up sex. She really knew how to polish the old anvil, if you take my meaning. Aragon. Yeah.
I'm done imagining now.
Win,
Yes, Alistair?
my shirt has a hole in it.
I see. And?
Can you mend it when we get back to camp?
Can't you mend your own clothes? Why do I have to do it?
Sometimes I pick up too much fabric and it ends up all puckered and the entire garment hangs wrong afterward. And you're, you know, grandmotherly. Grandmothers do that sort of thing, don't they? Darning socks and whatnot. You don't want me to have to fight Darkspawn in a shirt with a hole, do you? It might get bigger. I might catch cold.
Oh, all right. I'll mend your shirt the next time we set up camp.
Ooh, and while you're at it, the elbows kind of need patching too.
Careful, young man. Well, puckered garments may be the least of your problems.
So you do not fear the crows at all?
I think of it more as my desire to leave them far exceeds the fear I possess of them.
You think the Grey Wardens will give you safe harbor once all this is done? Surely you are not so naive.
I am willing to take my chances.
And if you are wrong?
Then I will be dead. One does not do what I do and fear death so very greatly.
There are fates worse than death.
And one of them is being unable to choose which master you serve. Trust me, my dear, I am well pleased with my current direction.
So do you ever want to go back?
To Honleith? Perhaps it should stare at a patch of grass for 30 years and then tell me how much it misses it.
Point taken. Still, if you can't remember anything else ever, it would be scary to leave, I think.
Fortunately, I am not as comfortable with the mundane and familiar as some.
Ooh, ow, ow. Sort of an adventurer, I see. Brave new world, that sort of thing.
And instead, I should be content to remain in that village, standing still out of fear of the unknown? What life is that? I know what I am now. I know how I was made. I can move forward. It, who has had so much more, should do half as well.
Thanks for that. I feel really good now.
A pleasure. Next time we shall speak of its grammar and personal hygiene.
Have you given thought to perhaps prolonging your life by forcing another spirit into your service?
Of course not.
I would. Of course, I am still young, beautiful, and my life is my own, while you are bound to that circle. I wonder why I asked. It would be a silly thing, prolonging your life. A waste.
Think what you will, Morrigan. When the end comes, I will go gladly to my rest, proud of my achievements. While you will see how empty your life was. You will realize that because you never had love for others, you never received love in return. And you will die alone and unmourned.
You speak of meaningless things. I need no one to mourn me, old woman.
More's the pity.